welcome to Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Okay, so in this Hancock's VMware Half Hour, we're going to deploy Aria Operations Manager or vRealize Operations Manager 8.17. And then in the next video, we're going to update it to 8.18. And the reason we want to update it to 8.18, as I was talking about in the last video, part 63 or 58, depending on what series you're watching, 7 or 8, vSeries 7 or vSeries 8. We said goodbye to Skyline Advisor Pro, and from the information that we're receiving from Broadcom/VMware in the FAQ, some of the functionality of the findings has made its way into Aria Operations Manager. But for some of those findings as well, we also need Aria Operations for Logs. So in the next bunch of videos, we're going to have a little look at Aria Operations Manager, deploying it, upgrading it, and then deploying Aria Operations for Logs, and then also upgrading Aria Operations for Logs as well. And then we can have a little look at the sort of kind of findings that we can receive from that environment. So, okay. So the first thing we need to do is to fetch the OVA. Again, it's an appliance from Broadcom. So we go to the Broadcom site, we download the 3.2 gigabyte file, which is an OVA, and we deploy that OVA into our VMware vSphere environment. Now, the keen-eyed amongst you are probably sort of kind of going, well, why are you deploying 8.17 and upgrading it with the upgrade? Well, that's a good question, and the reason is this. And I'm trying to remain calm, which I must admit is difficult, and I am actually basically trying to keep the language under control because, as I said, some of these videos do go out on YouTube and they're made for kids, and I have to watch my P's and Q's. But this is the reason why. So VMware Aria Operations, and as I said earlier on, I hate's a strong word, but I don't like the Broadcom website. But anyway, so if I go to 8.18, I hate that thing as well. And if I actually basically have a little look at the appliance, VMware Operations Appliance installation, the OVA 3.2 gig, and I basically accept the terms and conditions, and I click that, it says I'm not entitled. Yeah. So this is why I'm downloading 8.17. Oddly, I can download the patch for 8.18 and 8.18.1, although I don't think there is a patch for 18.18.1. But I can't actually download anyway, and life is too short, I'm afraid, to be able to moan about it. Anyway, so I've got off me soapbox. So this is why we're doing it this way. Okay, so there's the OVA 8.17. Anyway, but it does actually basically give me the opportunity to show you two videos: one to deploy the OVA and one to show you how to upgrade it. So benefits all around. So we're just I'm not going to bother changing the virtual machine name. To be honest, really these days, I have got into the habit of actually basically using the default names in the inventory because it gives me the release number of the build. So I'm going to deploy that into the EE data center. I'm going to basically pick ESXi 003 for this. And there's sort of kind of two parts to this deployment. Obviously, we're going to fill in names and passwords and IP addresses, although I'm going to use DHCP here in the lab, he says. Might have to think about that because I'm not quite sure that it allows you to deploy via DHCP. Okay, that looks okay. Followed by next. I'm going to accept the license agreement, followed by next. Small deployment here, really, between 350 and 5,000 VMs. So interesting. It wants 4 vCPUs and 16 gig of memory for a small appliance. We'll see how we get on with this. Okay, we're going to deploy on an NFS data store. It's going to be thin provisioned, followed by next. VM network, yeah, okay. Static and IP address, followed by next. Okay, there is a DHCP option. Good, we'll go with the DHCP option. Okay, so we're going to set the time zone to Europe, London. The domain name here, we're going to call it, let's just call it vRealize Aria Ops 1. Put in our domain name. Now, I was actually sort of kind of saying that there are sort of kind of two parts. Filling in this. Okay, so we're going to use DHCP for that and that and that and that and that. We're not going to use IP6. So I'm going to next, and then I'm going to do finish and see whether or not we get any error message, or that's just going to chug away in the background and I get opportunity to just speak for a couple of minutes. Okay, the operation is not available in the current state of the machine. I've seen this before. This particular machine thinks it's in maintenance mode. Just let me fix this. Okay. Interesting. I saw this on the site this week, actually, deploying Aria Operations Manager. Although it did give a slightly different error message about some proxy throwback issue through VMware vCenter server. But that was on 7. And on an 8.0 site, I saw another issue as well. Anyway, so all I've done, just quickly, I've logged in directly to the host itself, ESXi003, using the browser, using the ESXi host client. And I've deployed the OVA directly to the host via that. And it's certainly not giving me any issues at the moment. Very, very odd. As I said, I have seen issues with this particular machine in a very, very funny state, where I thought it thinks it's in maintenance mode, but it's not in maintenance mode. But I think that's just a red herring. So the operation is not allowed in the current state of the host. Yeah, pass. Don't know. So we'll do it this way. But as I said, I have actually seen, I really thought that all these deployment of OVFs had been fixed now, but obviously not. Anyway, so first part really is just deploying the OVF, then waiting for the machine to deboot, to get its IP address and to allocate its FQDN and it allocates host name. Then the next part is basically logging in via web browser, logging in, changing the username or changing the password. Now, Aria Operations Manager can be deployed in a cluster. So you can have a number of nodes and a master. We're not going to do that in this video. We're just going to deploy a single node. And you will see when we log in, it takes you through a wizard as to how you actually want to deploy it. Do you want to add it as another node, or is this your first node and configuration and you can add later? So it shows us that in a wizard. So we'll wait for this to deploy. We'll wait for it to power on, and we'll come back and we'll have a little look at the wizard at first deployment. Okay, I thought I'd just jump in here and sort of kind of show you that VMware Aria Operations first boot is running. Please wait. So we'll just wait and be patient, so we can actually log in for the first time. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for. So first boot's completed and it's started up all its web services. So now we're going to go to browser 141.245.136.65 and okay, it's responding. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to do a new installation. As I was saying to you before, that if you were expanding an existing cluster, then you would use the expand an existing installation. Let's do a new installation, not an express installation, so we can see all the options. So new installation, and this is the pretty little wizard that I was telling you about, and I like this wizard actually. I think it's very good. So basically, it's sort of kind of showing you that we're going to create a new VMware Aria operations cluster with this node as the primary node. Apologies. And then we're going to start the cluster, and then we're going to license it, and then we're going to install and configure solutions. And by installing and configure solutions, what we really mean there is effectively connecting to VMware vCenter server, connecting to vSAN if vSAN is applicable, and connecting to Aria operation for logs as well if that's already installed. So I'm going to basically click next, and I'm going to specify a new password. With all these passwords, I am going to try to remember them all, followed by next. I'm going to use a default certificate. So the primary node name I'm going to call Aria node 1, as I need to put my glasses on. Okay, and I'm going to basically use these NTP servers. Followed by next. Don't need any availability. I'm going to keep this simple. Not going to add any nodes. I'm going to keep it simple, followed by next, followed by finish. So now we wait. I've been doing quite a few of these, and they can take between 10, 15 and 20 minutes. So effectively it's configuring, preparing node for first use, and you will actually start to see the node names appear in here, the FQDN, the cluster role, the state and the status and the objects it's processing. So there's nothing further for us to do at the moment, again, other than just wait. So I'll go off and have a swig of espresso. Although, to be honest, you really probably drinking this far too late. I couldn't sleep last night at all. Okay, because I've been drinking this very, very late and I was still buzzing at about 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so there's our node name, Aria node 1, our IP address, primary. It's not running. So now basically I'm just going to say start and confirm and say yes. And it's now basically going to go off and it's going to start doing the cluster initialization, and we'll eventually see it running and the state online and a few objects that are being collected, and that's our version here, 8.17. So you can see it says running, it's waiting for analytics. So again, nothing really more for us to do than drink more coffee, drink more soft drink. There was something that was actually rattling in the back of my head that I was going to mention in this video, but it escapes me now. It escapes me. If I remember, again, as I said, this is the first part in many parts in the deployment of Aria Operations Manager 8.17. If you have an entitlement to go straight to 8.18, then please do. If you don't, then follow the next video that we'll do when we download the 1.5 gig upgrade pack and upgrade this to 8.18. Then we'll do the same for Aria Operations for Logs, Aria Operation for Logs upgrade. And we'll show you what Aria Operations Manager or some of the components of Aria Operations Manager and what the findings look like, because our friend Skyline Advisor Pro sadly is going away. Okay, success. So the green triangle on and the word online is what we're looking for. So cluster status online, and there's our Aria-node 1, our node address, cluster role primary, running, online, objects in process 94, objects in 26, 4361, and that's our version number. So we should now be able to go to, we can remove the admin and it will redirect us to the Aria operations interface. And one of the things I have actually noticed with all the rebranding that's actually going on at the moment, and I'll mention this, pick up on this when we have done the upgrade, is that says VMware, and of course when we've done the upgrade later, the next video, that will say VMware by Broadcom. Exciting. And just as an aside, one of the other things, I actually basically mistyped the IP address before, and I put .6, and I thought, what's this? And it's the first time I've ever actually noticed that on the Hue Personal Hub thing from Philips, that they've actually basically got a HTTP on port 443 responding, telling you all the modules that's got in there. Anyway, so that was something new. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, so I'm going to log in with admin and the password that I specified. Don't tell me that I've got this wrong. I'm sure that... absolutely positive that I typed the password correctly. Looks looking a little bit better. No, it's not. If at first you don't succeed, try again. I think there must have been miskeyed the password twice when I was setting it, but I'll actually show you a little tip there, because in fact actually behind the scenes here what I had to do was reset the password there, because I'd forgotten it. But anyway, another video, that one. Okay, so now just to sort of kind of go back from my memory really, so the cluster is currently online, or the cluster of one node is currently online, as we can see there. Metrics being collected, metrics processed, etc. We are now logged on, so the initial setup has been completed, so we're going to click next. Then we're going to set the license agreement. I'm going to enter a product key. So I've entered my product key, and that is courtesy of the VMware vExpert program. So if you want to join the VMware vExpert program, then reach out to me and we can talk about that. Or you could join vMware Advantage. That's another method of getting NFR license keys for VMware by Broadcom software. So yeah, I'm going to join the Customer Improvement Program, and I'm going to click Finish, and that will hopefully take me to loading resources, and for the first time basically we are greeted with the welcome to VMware Aria Operations panel. And I'm going to leave it there for this video, because as I actually basically said, I want to get to a point whereby we've upgraded to 8.18, and when we've done the upgrade to 8.18, then we will configure, we will add a cloud account, and we'll go to administration, and we will go to integrations, and we will basically start adding our integrations for vSphere. We don't have any vSAN in this environment, and our operation, our log insight as well, as it was called. So thanks very much for watching this video. Come back for the next 4 parts, where we look at Area Operations Manager upgrade to 8.18, area operation for logs and the upgrade of that, and then finally Skyline Health Diagnostics, SHD. VMD, or as I'd like to call it, VMware Skyline Diagnostics. Okay, so once again, thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.